make sure you send the link on the group.
Yes. Go ahead, bro. So, bismillah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. Hope you all are doing well. We just completed the fourth day of fasting in this blessed month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you um, in this blessed month, in this month of trial, a month where we are locked to our houses. Um, Today, earlier, we read from the fourth juz of the Quran. We finished Surah Ali Imran, and we got to Surah An-Nisa. So we started about the first quarter of Surah An-Nisa, and tomorrow we'll read another juz of Surah An-Nisa. Surah An-Nisa is also a very large surah, um, just about 1.5 juz, to be exact. Surah Ali Imran is... Okay. Just make sure everyone's on mute, inshallah. So, from the verses that we read today, um, lots of lots of things going on, many things we can discuss. But what I want to do is actually, I'll start with the hadith, and then I'm going to relate some of the verses that we read today to this hadith today. So we're going to jump right in to hadith number 5. What is hadith number 5? I'm going to post it on the screen right here for you right now. On the authority of Sahl ibn Sa'ad. عن سهل ibn Sa'ad قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. On the authority of Sahl ibn Sa'ad, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Al-anatu min Allah wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Al-anatu min Allah wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Calmness or serenity is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And hastiness or being hasteful is from shaitan. This is recorded by Imam At-Tirmidhi again. So we're going to memorize the Arabic here, the meaning, and the source as we mentioned. Al-anatu min Allah wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Calmness is from Allah and haste is from shaitan. And you can say Rawahu Tirmidhi or on the authority of Imam Tirmidhi, recorded by Imam At-Tirmidhi. Beautiful hadith where we are reminded about a very important quality, to be calm, to be someone who is tranquil, someone who doesn't always react quickly to things that befall him or her. In regards to this, I said I tie one verse to this hadith. There's actually one verse that's that relates to it very well. In a verse that we recited today in Surah Ali Imran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and he's telling the Prophet ﷺ directly, he says, وَلَوْ كُنْتَ فَظًّا غَلِيظَ الْقَلْبِ لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ. If you were someone that was very harsh, someone that had a very rough nature and rough heart, لَانْفَضُّوا مِنْ حَوْلِكَ, those around you would have parted from you, meaning the Sahaba of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If you had a very rough character, those around you would not have been close to you. They would have left you. And this is really something significant. And we learn from this hadith, how important it is to have a cool and calm character. Would you want to be around someone who every time you talk to them, anytime you had a slip up or made a mistake or were being taught something, they would scream and yell at you, or they would call you names, or demean you, or they just maybe even looked at you in a very rough way, and their tone was very rough. You'd say, Jazakallah khairan, I think I'll get my my knowledge from somewhere else. I'll get my business from somewhere else. Whatever the case may be. You don't want to be around this person. Nice knowing you, but Assalamu alaikum. It's really not something anyone wants to be around. Someone who's so rough So one of the great qualities of our Prophet ﷺ was that he was so soft in his speech, and he was someone with a lot of calmness and a lot of patience. And this quality, of course, comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blessed our Prophet ﷺ with this quality. And then the second part of it is haste. It's not necessarily being rough or being angry, but haste. But but that is a big deal, because haste leads to those other bad qualities. When you always want something right away, and you can't wait, or you can't wait to respond to someone. You know how someone, if you're talking to people, a certain person, and they're just quick to respond. I mean, they will fire right back without even thinking sometimes. Um, it gets really annoying sometimes. Sometimes you just want someone to just listen, relax, absorb what you are saying, and not just fire back right away. That's an example when it comes to talking. But haste, I mean, can be applied in so many different ways. People get hasty when it comes to making money, right? They want to become rich overnight. This is the goal of many people. I want to become a millionaire, not over my life of 50, 60, 70, 80 years. No, I want to become a millionaire tomorrow, and I will do whatever it takes. And what happens with this is that you end up becoming so hasty that you end up doing wrong things because you want it so bad, and right away you end up doing bad things. And that's one of the dangers of hastiness, is that you end up slipping and you will do things that you probably knew already were wrong, but because you want it so bad and so quick, you're going to do it anyway. So anytime we feel this desire of haste and it's leading us to do something wrong, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Just calm down. Take a seat. Just sit down. Maybe even lay down. Maybe even offer 2 rak'ahs of salah if that doesn't work. And just relax. Hastiness, like I said, can be applied in many different ways. Um, Someone has some very beautiful tips in regards to this hadith. I'm going to go over them, just a few things. Lessons from this hadith. Number one, we were not made to rush. Don't ever think of life as rush, rush, rush. I want everything right away. There's beauty in going through the phases in life. I look back at even myself, to be very honest with you. My first semester in college, my first semester, I took 21 units. That's a lot. For those of you who've been to the college system here, 15 is considered full time. 21 is pretty intense. But why? I was actually just 16 years old, and I wanted to get my bachelor's degree by 18 or 19. So I was just rushing, rushing, rushing. And you know what happened? After a couple of years, or even a year, actually, a year and a half, I decided, I don't want to do this. The degree I was in, I was like, let me do something else. And I kept bouncing around. And I felt so bad that, I was so hasty to just do a certain thing. I didn't even make my mind up that this is really something good to do it and research it well, but just wanted a degree right away, and ended up wasting more time, actually. Alhamdulillah, I ended up, finishing something later, but at the same time, a lot of time was wasted because of haste. Just wanted to get in and knock it out and not even think it through. Um, Now, don't get me wrong. If you are able to do something, beyond the normal capacity, that's not always considered haste either. Sometimes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed certain individuals with great capabilities. I actually had a friend. He's kind of the opposite. In fact, he's still in school. He's my age. He's still studying. But he took 30 units once in one semester. So he wasn't really hasty. He was just extremely gifted. But he's still studying. I mean, he actually went to school for many things, and now he's studying Sharia overseas. But very, very gifted person. So don't mix that up. But I do want to say, in general, we're very hasty. We want to do things right away. We want to become the age of 30 at the age of 18. We want to become the age of 18 at the age of 12. There's no need for that. We weren't made to rush. Enjoy the different phases in life. When you look back, you'll remember them and cherish them. The second point, time is relative. Time is relative. If we believe and act, if time is scarce, it will increasingly become so. So if you think time is short, I mean, if you're constantly thinking about it, I'm losing time, I'm losing time, then it's going to become even more narrow for you. So slow down, just slow down a bit. It's true, life is short. I mean, you know, once you look at it from a hypothetical view, and of course from the view from the Quran, overall, if you look at life, you know, compared to the akhirah, which is forever, then of course any amount of time in this life is short, right? But relatively speaking, compared to that, but there's no reason to always panic about this and think, oh, my life is so short, my time is running out, and you get to a level where you are stressing yourself. You should not stress yourself to that extent, because then your world will become even more constricted. You should in your mind think life is short, so I should not waste my time. Yeah, that's another story. uh, Especially the youth, you have the most energy, you have a lot of firepower, you have a lot of will to do a lot of good things. So use that energy, that desire you have for goodness, and that's a good way to apply time is short, meaning don't waste your time, don't end up doing things that you'll regret later, that will not benefit you or those around you. The next point, rush and hate disconnect you from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They disconnect you from the divine presence. um, have you ever noticed that when you relax, you are more focused in your prayer and your recitation, and just even your reflection in regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His creation. If you're always rushing, you're not getting out anything out of your prayers. In fact, it's mentioned in the sunnah, throughout the sunnah, that we should not rush our prayers. If we rush them too much, they are not even accepted. If we don't give each arkan of salah, each pillar of salah, each part of salah, it's due right, then your prayers are not even accepted. If you're jumping up and down like a woodpecker, um, what are you really getting out of your salah? Have you noticed those that are well connected? They take their time. Sometimes they'll sit in the masjid, they'll relax, they'll perform dhikr for minutes and sometimes even hours. They'll sit there. They're connecting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So just slow down. Even if you are not praying that much every day or not reading that much Quran, no big deal, but just slow down, slow down. Um, and then the last point, um, how do we attain this calmness? We just have to have a lot of patience. We have to constantly remind ourselves and be around those that are calm. If you're around people that are always hasty, then you'll probably acquire that same quality. But if you're around people that are calm, they're calm in the way they speak, their composure, the way they handle things in life. They get things done. Don't get me wrong. Calmness doesn't mean slowness per se. It doesn't mean that you do what takes 1 year, you do it over 3 or 5 years. No, that's not what is meant here. But there is a quality of being calm that is different from being slow. Um, you have to be serene in your responses, in your actions in life. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to become calm, especially for the kids. You got a lot of energy, try to practice calmness with that energy. Because if you could do it at this age, you will definitely do it when you're older. But if you don't train yourself at a young age, then it'll become harder for you to become calm when you get older. And you know how, people joke sometimes. People get older, they get grumpy. Some people, they get really grumpy. They anytime you do something wrong in front of them, they're gonna say something right there on the spot, something insulting or something to put you down or just something out of anger. So train yourself young so that when you get older, it'll be easier for you to stay calm. Al-anatu min Allah wal ajalatu min ash-shaitan. Beautiful hadith. So let's do a quick recap of the 5 hadith, inshallah. Let's go to hadith number 1. What is hadith number 1? Ad-deenun nasiha. The religion is sincerity. Reported by Imam Muslim. What is the second hadith? Ad-du'a'u mukhul ibadah. Supplication is the essence of worship. رواه الترمذي, recorded by Imam Tirmidhi. What is the third hadith? المرء مع من أحبه, a person will be with whom he loves. رواه البخاري ومسلم, or you can say متفق عليه, recorded by Imam Bukhari and Imam Muslim. Hadith number 4. حبك الشيء يعمي ويصم. Your love for something can render you blind and deaf. Recorded by Imam Abu Dawood. Rawahu Abu Dawood. Um, and the hadith from today, hadith number 5. Al-anatu min Allah wal-ajalatu min ash-shaytan. Calmness is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and haste is from shaitan. I'll end with one more verse from the Quran that we read today, just to attach another verse. And this also comes from haste, and that's why I'm mentioning it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says there are certain people that like to be praised for what they don't do. وَيُحِبُّونَ أَن يُحْمَدُوا بِمَا لَمْ يَفْعَلُوا. They love to be praised for the things that they don't even do. And this comes from haste. You like um, being honored in the sight of people for something you never really did, but you might have pretended to have done something, or you portrayed yourself in a way that you made this big accomplishment when you really didn't. Or you act a certain way in front of certain people, but when you're away from them, you do something else. Um, this is also a form of showing off, of course, but also there is some factor of haste in there too, because you never took the time to become that real person, but rather you just did a little deed here and there, a little deed there, and you wanted people to know you were a big shot. You never really did the work, but you wanted to be praised for it. وَيُحِبُّونَ أَن يُحْمَدُوا بِمَا لَمْ يَفْعَلُوا. So we should avoid doing that. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all from those who are calm, serene, and may He save us from haste as much as possible. Every time that we get into a state of hastiness and we end up going towards something wrong, may He remind us and allow us to seek refuge in Him from ash-shaytan and from our nafs. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. So with this, we'll close for tonight, and tomorrow we'll continue with our recitation from the 5th juz of the Quran, and we'll move on to the 6th hadith tomorrow night. So make sure you are memorizing all of these, and if you have any issues, please do let me know, and just feel free to send a message. We'll end with a dua tonight. Um, is the recitation via Zoom or YouTube? It's actually on YouTube. You can join Zoom too, but it's live stream on YouTube. So we will end with a small dua tonight, and I'll send you the meaning for this dua as well, inshallah. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanallah al-azim. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث أصلح لنا شأننا كله ولا تكلنا إلى أنفسنا طرفة عين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. صل اللهم على نبينا وحبيبنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه والتابعين. This dua you'll probably hear many times throughout the month of Ramadan. If you're praying behind an imam leading the witr out loud. Beautiful hadith where you are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His help, and you're calling upon one of His greatest names, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum, the one that is living and sustaining, all living and sustaining. You're asking for His help, and you are saying that don't leave me to myself to take care of my needs. Straighten all my affairs, and don't leave me alone even for a blink of an eye. A beautiful dua. And don't ever leave me alone, Ya Allah. It's almost like a desperate call to Allah. Don't ever leave me even for a blink of an eye. Take care of all my needs. Be there for every moment in my life. Beautiful dua. So I'll send you guys a meaning for that, inshallah, and hopefully you can learn that as well on the side. For now, make sure you practice these 5 hadith, and tomorrow we'll go over number 6. Wa jazakumullah khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.